Right, welcome back. Now it's time for us to take a look at the news, and today we have a different panel. Let's say, I wouldn't say fairly young, or they'll defend themselves. We have David Osian, who is an aspirant for Rongo constituency. We have Frank Wendani to the extreme, who is an aspirant for Roy Sambu constituency, and then we also have Silas Jakakimba, who is an advisor to the Raila Odinga Secretariat. Welcome, gentlemen. Of course, the top story on both dailies, I guess we'll start there. The top story is the Raila party to kick out members of parliament who back Uhuru, and also that is according to the Nation. And the Standard also has a similar headline that says Raila whip squad MPs who defected to Uhuru camp. I guess we'll start by the advisor to the Raila committee as to your comment on this.
Well, it's the decision has been taken, and the gentleman and a lady have been given a show cause notice. They ought to respond within 7 days, and the party is ready to deal with the next phase. Yes.
I guess the other question would be, while you are looking into this, of course, the consequence would be probably striking their name off and then a by-election. About, let's say, 9 months to the general election, do you think the country is ready to go for several by-elections?
The party is ready for the by-elections.
The party is in the country. It's now that we don't have our IBC. Your view?
Question.
All right, we'll take.
Thank you very much, Willis. Now, I would say that the political play that is already that we are seeing in the current affairs, to me, is a build-up to the 2017 elections, and CORD and ODM have to accept their state of affairs and wait for the 2017 general elections. One, they pushed us into making sure that we oust IBC. So right now we don't have an IBC that to them will be satisfactory to really conduct such a massive by-election. We already have 4 by-elections coming up in the next month, that is in October, and the scale that we have seen, the movement from ODM and CORD to Jubilee, to us who are in Jubilee is very welcome. But we are telling CORD, you manage your house. Let those affairs that are making your members run away from your house be addressed internally, and then maybe in 2017, when we meet, in the field, and when we are facing off to create the next government, then at that time you can really whip your your parliamentarians and your members of county assemblies and governors properly. But for now, let them accept the state affairs. We are in this to win as a government, and we are going to retain these members within our structures to make sure that they are comfortably within the government and properly in their constituencies.
Obviously, you are happy because you're the recipient.
We are the recipient.
David, what's your comment on this?
I think to ask whether or not IEBC is ready is neither here nor there. There is a law that governs how IEBC runs, and the law states until when they cannot accept by-elections. And so until that time that they cannot accept by-elections, they must be ready to do by-elections. And besides, I think CORD cannot be blamed. You cannot say, as my brother said, that we put our house in order. We are not the ones to blame when a few Tumbocrats have decided to sacrifice their values, and decide to eat instead of serve. I must say that every party needs people who have the commitment and conviction to belong to that party. We as Cordatians, we know what we stand for. The CORD leader, Raila Odinga himself, when he decided that he did not want to stay in Ford Kenya anymore, he was honorable enough, probably not even probably, the only member of parliament there has been in this country who, when he fell out with the party to which he belonged, decided, I am going to go back, resign from that party, and seek a fresh mandate from the people on another ticket. And he went to Kibera, to Langata then, and was re-elected on NDP. And so if our friends who belonged with us decide that they no longer want to belong with us, that they no longer share our values of social justice, of social democracy, you know, of equity and equality, and how they belong to the other side that represents the direct reverse of these values, then let them just say, okay, so be it, I'm going to seek a fresh mandate on Jubilee Party.
All right, so in your view, Frank, and we'll come to Silas again to ask for that, but in your view, as you are receiving these people, according to David, it looks like it's like you say, neither here nor there. This case, the argument has been that these people have been defecting anyway. What political gain are you probably seeking?
No, Willis, it's really unfortunate that my brother David has taken to really speak the language that we are so used to hearing from the courthouse. He called them the Caucasians. Let me say that the Caucasians, as we know them, are people who are really always living on the edge in terms of the political life. They're always living on the edge. They're always trying to push the extremes. And losing 25 members who were elected within the CORD and the ODM tickets as a family is really a painful situation that they find themselves in. But Willis, I want to say that in Jubilee, we are not accepting these members just for the sake of accepting them as defectors. We are looking at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is that Jubilee government has achieved so much that nationwide there is a great acceptance across the nation. Back to the coast, people are thriving into Jubilee. When you go to Western, and even Nyanza itself, people are thriving into Jubilee. So let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with Kenyans that this government has performed, and this government is ready to make the next government. The Jubilee Party is also ready to make the next government. And if that is the situation, I would even be asking David himself to even consider not running on the CORD ticket, because like you see recently when we were launching the Jubilee Party, Willis, we've been able to spread our wings very wide. This is the first time Kenyans are enjoying, or rather are going to have a party that has proper national representation, a party that has a proper national following, a mass party that belongs to the people. Those are sentiments or ideologies that CORD and ODM, pretend to uphold, pretend to have. But if you look at their linen and their fabric, they are not close to being a national party. They are not close to being a mass party. And therefore, I want to invite David, cross over, come to Jubilee. Ours is a big house, and you will be properly in place. The people that you're seeking to represent will be properly represented. My brother Jakakimba here, who is the advisor to Honorable Raila, I want to pass word that we are ready. We are ready as a government, we are ready as a political party to make the next government. Na hii mambo ya kumeza mate ni ya ukweli. So like
he confirmed. Just before I let Silas talk,
yes,
I think it is wonderful to dream. Some dreams are valid, and my brother's is invalid. The dream that Jubilee upholds a sense of nationhood is fallacious. You do not, Tom Boyer spoke about and wrote a book on the challenge of nationhood. The understanding that our country is a country that is extremely diverse in terms of its ethnicity, in terms of religion, race, and many other things. But the challenge of nationhood has been Jubilee's biggest challenge. If they rose up to that challenge, then the president would first fire the entire cabinet. Because it is a cabinet whose appointment is hinged on the tragedy of tribe in our country, which I suspect we will discuss later, as I have seen something terrible happening at the Moi University.
Yeah.
And so you do not achieve nationhood by just doing a ritual in Kasarani. That's not what achieves, or coming up with a slogan to go for more. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond the talk. It gets to the walk. It gets to what is our day-to-day life? Who does the president appoint? How many ministers are derived from the president and deputy president's, ethnic basis? Is it correct? How many have we seen? How many parastatal heads fired, sent home, and their replacements from the obvious ethnic groups, which is quite tragic. And so what CORD represents, and he knows, to even think that a few people are getting into Jubilee from the coast province, that will be a miracle come true. And miracles are good, they still exist. But I want to ask him to come to where we walk the talk. Them they talk in Jubilee. We walk the talk.
Right. We said we can look at the law. We can look at the law and really ask ourselves, what does the Political Parties Act say? And coming from the legal fraternity myself, I would say that if the Political Parties Act today is implemented to the latter, if we were to look at Section 14 itself, if we were to look at Section 5 itself, we will really be asking those people that have defected on a very honest, basis to really resign from their parties. But again, Willis, I want to say that there are two approaches to implementing such laws. You don't just run into court and ask a court to enforce particular sections of the act. You also allow natural justice to take its course. There's what you call a balance of convenience in natural justice, Willis. And in this particular situation, I'm seeing a situation where even if the registrar receives a letter today from CORD that these members have defected and we need them, we have struck them from the political, from the CORD or rather ODM party list, there will be also a requirement that these people are given an opportunity to respond. And one of the response really is for them to show, rather to notify the speaker that they have really resigned, that they have really moved from ODM and CORD and joined Jubilee. Now there are two different speaks here. There's what you see as roadside declarations, and there's what is real legal and implementable. Now for us, both in Jubilee and in CORD, I would beg that we give these 25 members of parliament, the governors, and everyone else who was declared a defection, the proper benefit of doubt to allow the law to take its course. And once that declaration has been made, and if the registrar sees fit to really strike them out of the party list, or rather if CORD strikes them out of the party list, and that is properly before the registrar, then the same law will take its course. I'm a strong defender of the law. I don't like corrupt tendencies, and I want to think that when this happens, these members who have defected strategically, and they are ready. If I may speak as I am right now, they are ready to face the electorate once more. So let that happen, and if that happens, we shall be here back again, so to really campaign for our teams and see which team really wins this by-election.
I'm burning. My brother says, makes reference to the law, and I just learned that he's actually a member of the legal profession where I belong. The letter and the spirit of the law is referring to is so obvious, it's direct. Any layman can understand it. If a member of a political party participates in the formation of another party, or in promotion or propagation of ideas or ideologies of a different party, then they shall be deemed to have resigned. They shall be deemed to have resigned. It does not invite the opinion of the registrar. It's incumbent upon the party, the original party, to make a decision on the same and only notify the registrar. Okay.
No.
So I would urge my brother to go slow, and him saying that it's a painful decision by CORD when 25 members of parliament and governors leave the party. This decision was made by the party and the CORD constituent parties that these folks have to leave and in compliance with the law, and the ground is ready. These are just a few tumukras to borrow a word from my brother. who decided to draw close to this rotten meat. Yes. And the ground is ready. The ground is cold. The ground is ready for change, and these folks have to leave. Yes.
All right.
He talks about natural justice. They've been given a time to show cause why. They have 7 days to do the same, and I believe in the fullness of time, my brother, we'll hand over to you these individuals, but the fact is, on the ground is ready for change, and Kenyans cannot wait any further to see a government of keen on implementing TGRC report, equity, economic recovery, Kenya today.
Dungu report.
Yes, Dungu report. The Kenya we are in today, compared to what we had even just 7 years ago or so, we are worse off. The members of the bottom billion part of the world, the poor in Kenya are getting poorer. The gap is widening. So Kenyans are keen to see a government that will, bring change that will impact on the lives of the common person on the ground, and not just talk. They talk about tuko pamoja, and he's inviting my brother to cross. I don't know what he means. Tuko pamoja. We cannot be tuko pamoja and propagate this Jubilee, the so-called Jubilee agenda on the disguised platform of national unity and nationhood, when we have a university like Moi University. I mean,
wako pamoja.
Yeah, wako pamoja, na every now and again they just want a university led by somebody from the village. I mean,
tragic.
Right, yes,
tragic.
We'll talk about the Moi University issue, but of course, he says, the government has not done anything. 7 years worse than we were before. Maybe you'd like to comment on that before we move to that.
Before he even responds, I remember asking one of the Jubilee wannabe people in some part of the country, can you point to me? He comes from Roy Sambu. I know Roy Sambu not too badly. And I would even challenge him. Can he point even a road? Roy Sambu has horrendous roads, really. The last time I was in your constituency, and I wish you well as you run for it, the state of the infrastructure there is appalling. So what then do they mean they have worked? I go to Nyanza every other day to Rongo. I am yet to see anything I would identify Jubilee with. When the Prime Minister and President Kibaki ran the country, we have a lot of things to show for it. They are the greatest beneficiaries of the thickest superhighway, and the problem has been even skewed manner of allocating some of these things. The few that are done, I even doubt there is any. I think the few that are done in parts that are politically correct. And then now you see they want to say, let's move a special economic zone from Lamu and Kisumu, which was identified by the government of national unity, and you're telling us to take it to Naivasha. Muko pamoja. Hey, tuko pamoja kweli.
Maybe allow him to
Willis, I want to echo what David has just said about my constituency, Rosambu. But I don't want to pile the blame on the national government, because the government has done its bit. The government has given allocations in troves. It has made proper allocations through the CDF. It has made proper allocation through the county government. But then it behoves the incumbents, both at the ward level and the constituency level, to implement what pledges they made to the people, especially in my constituency in Rosambu. The state of the roads really is not proper. But again, Willis, we as leaders, we also need to accept that each one of us has a role to play in the larger picture. You will not blame the president or the deputy president or even the minister of transport and infrastructure because a bad road like Lumumba Drive in Rosambu is not made. We have an incumbent who is a ward rep. We have an incumbent who is a member of parliament. It behoves them to really move the agenda at that level. But when you look at the national policy, Willis, I want to say that there has not been any government since the creation of this world that has made Kenyans benefit and feel the importance of governance, feel the presence of the government, as Jubilee government has done. There has not been any other government in this world that has made Kenyans appreciate proper rule as the Jubilee government has. And when we look at the economy itself, for the last several decades, we Kenyans have been fighting to try and have the world recognition on how we have implemented our policies, on how we have approached proper agendas and implemented them to really try and uplift the livelihoods of our people. And last year in December, Willis, the World Bank itself gave us a 25% rating, which is the highest any African country has achieved as yet. And if the World Bank and if the world out there really recognizes the effort that the Jubilee government has made, previous governments have tried. Even the Grand National
Government of National Unity.
Yes, the one that David is referring to, failed in itself. We have seen those policies and agendas that they created then. In the recent past, the same parties who are in that national unity coming back and renegating on them, going back on them, throwing cold water on what really they tried to achieve in the previous government. But we are saying as a government that we are focused, and our focus, Willis, is not to give the people at the grassroots corrupt leadership. Our responsibility as a government is to make sure that at the national level, the policies that ensure that public participation is properly conducted, that financial propriety is cascaded, or rather trickled down to the people, those policies are in place. And if the Jubilee Manifesto speaks about national unity, there is no any other political party in this nation, Willis. Truth be told, you cannot say you're feeling the heat of the sun when the rain is already pouring on yourself. That is totally evident. When your clothes are soaking wet, we all see that you're being rained on. And that is the kind of government that we are talking about. That Jubilee is doing what it has to do as a government. We are putting money back to the people. We're investing in infrastructure. Right now, as we speak, the SGR is about to take off. Willis, if the two centers that the government intends to invest in, Isiolo and the western side, Kisumu, if those centers are put and implementation is properly done, we shall see those people, those areas that are predominantly ODM and COD affiliated, starting to feel the impact of the government. We have seen the last mile electrification program. Even those people that are not in the government, they have known the worth of a properly working government. Yeah. And really that is not disputable. Kenyans know the truth, and we cannot just sit here with we cannot sit here with the advisor to ODM and one David trying to dispute what the government is saying when it is evident. The rain is on them, their clothes are wet, and the government is working.
Okay, let's complete.
My brother Aburu, we are barely 10 months to the next elections, and you'd bear me witness that in the last 4 weeks or so, when we expect Jubilee to account for their time in office, 4 years, 4 good years in office, what are we fed to? Weekly PR with promissory summits. What one called agriculture summit, infrastructure summit, all these things. They have nothing to show
for it.
For their time in office.
They have Eurobonds to show for it.
For the first 4 years. Just 1 minute. On 9th of April 2013, the political captains of the current administration were given the mandate by the people, by the national constitution, the Republic of Kenya. And they came into office on a pedestal of some manifesto that was referring to. So 4 years later, what they need to do is not to come back to Kenyans and start offering more promises. We intend to do this, we intend to reduce this, we intend to boost agriculture, we promise to. No. They should tell us whether they've delivered on their manifesto. When you campaign for political office, you campaign based on some policy platforms, manifesto, with what you want to deliver to the people. When it is time to seek for a renewal of your mandate, you come and tell the electorate that, hey, this is what I promised and this is the much I've delivered. They promised national stadia in each of the then 8 provinces as they were.
Nothing.
There is nothing. Education sector, laptops, even our national academic and scholarship institutions have gone so tribal, which is basically the premise on which this government is run. It's tribalism. It's not even a government of 2 tribes, actually. Let me not go there. The issue of economic recovery, Kenyans are worse off today than they were 4 years ago.
That is despite the World Bank rating.
Forget about those ones. No.
Let me
about those ones.
All right.
Let me. Oh, sorry. Silas is finishing.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, and look at the even the SGR and all these are infrastructure projects. Huh? These are projects whose foundation were laid by the then coalition government. What do we have to show for it? Yes, more borrowing and loans. Kenyans are paying so much to give back China what belongs to them in terms of the loans, but there's nothing to show for all these things. So we are a few months to the next elections, and the Jubilee has nothing at all to show for their time in office. That informs the reason why they come with all these weekly promissory summits. We as Kenyans will hold them accountable, and I know Kenyans are ready for change. Kenyans are ready for the next step, and will boldly, very boldly, propel the change coalition which is CORD into office, so that we have a government that can deliver on governance, on equity, on justice, on fairness, and economic recovery for every commoner in this country.
All right, David, and then
I think let me start by first referring to his protection of the presidency as regards the roads in Roysambu that are in their worst of shapes. You know, the member of parliament has $1 million. That's 100 to 120 million shillings a year. That cannot even fix that road. It can only do so much. It takes the will. If the presidency, if the leaders of this government today, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto, had wanted to really uplift the lives of and transform the livelihoods of Kenyans, Willis, I tell you, they would have ensured that devolution works. Ensuring it works is again not just talking. They keep talking but don't walk the talk, as I said. It's about devolving a greater percentage downwards. They will keep arguing, oh, the little that there is not being managed well, but it's propaganda so that the government, the national government, can reacquire all the other, sectors and keep looting, as has painfully been the case. But be it as it may, he points SGR and the last mile project as their, projects for show. The standard gauge railway project is predicated on corruption and falsehoods. You cannot build something by hugely overestimating its costs and then tell Kenyans that you have done it well, when the total cost of achieving it would have achieved another thicker superhighway all the way to Nakuru. You can't just convince me. And then you tell me you have the last mile project, and you tell Kenyans that we are bringing electricity, and then I see the president and the deputy president going to a mud, grass-thatched house to go and turn on electricity with live wires. Tell me if these people are not setting up Kenyans to die. A mud-thatched house with grass on it, and you put electricity? I had rather they had built better structures for people to live in. It's just this falsehood, and public relations can only go so far. As he said, you can fool a few people a few times. You cannot fool many and all Kenyans all the time. It gets to catch up with you.
Yeah, I have a right of response because again, what we're seeing here is David representing the graduates that we know in the opposition. The big talk and really empty, platforms to really show, because the party leader from the party he comes from himself has been one of the most prominent politicians from that side of divide, and a leader of a constituency that we know is highly impoverished. A situation which really begs whether what ODM pretends to really represent is what really is on the ground. Willis, in Nairobi we have a governor who is elected on the same party ticket. And the issues that we are trying to address, or rather the issues that we are speaking about right now, revolves around infrastructure, revenue collection, implementation, devolution, and his party is the proper custodian of the Nairobi policy framework, since that is what Kidero represents. Now, if, for example, constituency where I come from has bad roads, and whereas the government has done its bit in making sure that proper financial allocations trickles down to the county, then I would want to ask David himself, why is it that ODM itself is not following up on the leadership that they have elected, or rather they have pushed Kenyans to elect on the ODM ticket, to make sure that what he speaks about is what is implemented on the ground. Kenyans also, of whatever class in the society, have a right to basic infrastructure. They have a right to have water in their houses. They have a right, just like any other Kenya, whether you're in Runda or Karen, or even that thatched grass thatched house, to have electricity. Those are basic amenities. And what we are saying, Willis, is that for any individual to develop, you have to make the playing ground, the economic playing ground, level and available for everyone. If you are in Runda and you have electricity and you can afford to charge your mobile phone, why is that person who is in Kasbul Kabodo, who is in Soweto, or rather in Jokali areas of my constituency, why is that person not able to charge his phone? Because he has been denied electricity, since he is not able to afford a stone-walled house. Willis, that is a fallacy that ODM and coalitions have tried to perpetuate, not only at this time, but all through. But Willis, I want to really be clear on this, that Kenyans know the truth. Kenyans know where they want to belong, and Kenyans know where they want to go. And where they want to go is where Jubilee is taking them. The laptop project, Willis, we cannot deny that this is a humongous project that Jubilee challenges itself to implement. And whereas we have had some challenges in doing it, we are on the right track and we're heading there. We have seen pilot projects being done. These laptops are not manufactured out there. They're manufactured by Kenyan youth. We are youth sitting in this panel. I would want to beg that these fellows, my brother David, Jack here, my brother David there, to accept that even the platform that the youth have currently is a platform that I've never had in previous governments, where they are enjoying a 30%. It might be constitutional, yes, but the Jubilee manifesto has spoken literally and articulated on how to implement that particular policy, and he is doing it. Jack may be running, David may be running in his constituency, not with borrowed money, but money that he has made from 1 or 2 tenders that he has enjoyed from the ACPO. And if that has been the benefit of this government, I wonder why then he will sit back and really bite the breasts that are feeding him.
All right, no, I'm very sure. No, let me just let me respond to my brother. You know, one, AGPO tenders are done on the basis of know whom. So who do you know? Not know how. It's not the skills you have. It's know whom. And he says that Kidero should be blamed for the shape of roads in Roysambu. Come on.
That's not my word. I just said...
You said we should hold him accountable.
I said that in the Nairobi County governance structure,
yes,
the person responsible for implementation of some of those very articulate are... is the government. But he can have the revenue. But let me correct his statement before even he continues. Okay. We have earlier on I said that we have a constituency where there is an incumbency. We have a member of parliament, and we have an MCA. Now the MCA takes represents the people in Kindero's county assembly.
Yes.
Now, if the MC seeks seeks to ask Kidero for a few coins to implement a project in Rosambo, Ward, or Zimmerman Ward or Githore Ward, then Kidero, who is the governor of ODM, I want to think that the same policies that Kidero may be implementing are what CORD itself has in its structure. But the blame that I'm putting on the incumbency. Remember, incumbency, MCA, Member of Parliament, and the governor. Are structures that are devolved. Yes, the national government devolves itself at with the CDF. It also devolves itself at the county level. Kidero devolves themselves, through the structure again, so that you can have a representative at the county level, at the MCA level.
But the blame.
But all that, we are not blaming. We are not blaming the individual. We are blaming the incumbency.
But
the incumbency has failed in giving the people the rightful hold. And I'm saying, as an aspirant in Rosambo constituency, I will take that blame if it is rested on my head. If it is rested on my shoulder, and I have the CDF, I have the mandate to represent the people of Rosambo, I'll knock on Kidero's door. God forbid that
no. You have already said that he will predicted. I will blame the presidency because it is the presidency that can decide to devolve units such as roads to the county government. They are not for the county government because we have a greedy presidency, that wants to, the Jubilee government has been on an accumulation mode. No wonder they are able to comfortably purchase a few tumbocrats who cannot hold up to their values. All right? And so long as, I will repeat, so long as the presidency is committed to devolution, which is the bottom line for CORD, which is what we want to do when we take up, not if, when we take up in 2017, to ensure that 50% of the national budget is committed to devolution, is devolved to the counties, because that's where the leadership interfaces with the common man.
All right, so we're going to, sorry, I just have to cut you short a bit because I need to go to a break, but when we come back we'll still talk about politics. I see here also that the party that is ODM has already said made a proposal by Kalonzo to fill joint candidates in areas such as Nairobi, and also Kalonzo Musyoka has declared that he wants to vie for the presidency as well. He wants to be a presidential candidate, and that means that he will meet ODM's party leader Raila Odinga and also Moses Wetangula. We'll discuss all that, and also of course other matters like the Moi University issue and much more, including youth and politics. These are useful individuals who want to throw their hat in the ring. So stay with the Power Breakfast.